Hey guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today I've got something a little bit different and alternative to my channel. I have never done one of these before, but it is about time because I haven't done a spirituality related video in a while and I've got a lot of amazing books to talk through today. So if you're new to my channel, then hello, my name is Alice. I'm a fashion, lifestyle and manifestation content creator over on YouTube. Please do hit that subscribe button and keep watching. So I have myself a really big pile of books to talk about today, and they are some of my favorites, some classics that I reread over and over again, and some new picks as well. So I really want to dive in today and talk about them because I am a big lover of the self-help genre. It's probably my most visited area of the bookshop, and I think there's a lot to learn from self-help. There's a lot of different ways to think about life and view life, and some of these books have really opened my eyes to spirituality, mindset, success and abundance. So without further ado, let's get into this massive pile of books. So the first book that I have here is Invisible Work by John Hawkins. This is a new release and a new read for me. Not something that I would typically pick up myself, but a bit of an interesting topic to delve into for the purpose of today's video, because I've found this book to be incredibly insightful and educational in terms of the future of how we are going to work, our autonomy, how we are going to set our sights on achieving our goals in the future. And that's based on things like self-employment, working for ourselves, not working in an office. This does touch on the global pandemic as well, so it's really insightful in that regard if you have been thinking about how we are going to be changing the way that we work. I have also kind of gone through and highlighted some key quotes and some different things that have kind of struck with me. There are a lot of things that I've highlighted in this book so far, and I have enjoyed understanding, because I am self-employed, I work for myself, I'm a freelance writer, I dabble in other things as well. So for me it's been quite an interesting / incredibly hard road to understanding how to work, how to do things for myself, how to structure my work life and get the most out of what I'm doing to avoid things like burnout, and how even the 9 to 5 and our traditional ways of working is incredibly outdated, and how the future of work and what is classed as work is going to impact how we live our lives in the future. And there are a few quotes actually, and striking on the title Invisible Work, to understand it I thought I would read out this quote because it really did make a lot of sense to me. It says, "Invisible work is work that is unseen and unobservable. It is not noticed and cannot be noticed. It is composed of a mix of cognition and emotion, or in more common terms, thinking and feeling. I use thinking as a catch-all to include the human use of data, facts, knowledge, ideas, opinions, understanding, wisdom and insight. I add the qualifier human because software algorithms and AI use data but do not think." Now this chapter really does delve into the impact of us as humans having to understand and use time and energy in order to interpret data, interpret different areas and lines of work, and how that is invisible work. You know, we might not necessarily get an immediate result, but you know, efforts are being put in order to get an output. So there's a lot of different elements of this book that I have really enjoyed so far. It's definitely more complex than your kind of average like article or book. It is on the more complex side of things, and it comes across as more of an essay. There's a lot of like statistics and facts and figures, so this is a really kind of well thought out book. But I definitely wanted to mention it because if you are interested in you know, like how to work more effectively, the impact of how we are working now, then this is a really good read. Now, it wouldn't be a video on spirituality and spiritual books without The Secret. This is one of my go-to books and texts for just realigning myself and making myself feel empowered again and harnessing the secret as best as possible. The Secret tells the story of the law of attraction, and it's a really great basic text to have. I do recommend her other books. I really like The Power. That is probably my second favourite, but The Secret is a really good base understanding and interpretation of what the law of attraction is, where it stems from, and how to practice it in different areas of our lives. This is also available on Netflix. So if you have Netflix, then definitely check it out because the words are very similar. It's almost identical in terms of its script. So you're not missing out, and if you have seen the Netflix documentary, then you have pretty much read the book. But for me, I personally prefer the Audible version. I think it's really insightful and inspiring, and for me, I like to take things in an audio fashion because I find I take in the information more readily and I'm just motivated and inspired. When I used to commute to work, I would always have The Secret on because I just felt like I was cattle being led to slaughter heading into central London. I never enjoyed it, and I always needed something to kind of take my mind off that journey and refocus myself. I could always feel the energy of the people around me, and having The Secret in my ear, it just allowed me to switch off and pretend like everything else wasn't happening and that I was in my own kind of protected bubble. But this book is fantastic. I'm going to read a couple of quotes quickly. So I have pulled this page at random and I've selected like attracts alike. So this actually explains law of attraction in a very easy way. John Azaraf says, the simplest way for me to look at the law of attraction is if I think of myself as a magnet and I know that a magnet will attract it. You are the most powerful magnet in the universe. You contain a magnetic power within you that is more powerful than anything in this world. You contain magnetic power within you, and this is more powerful than anything in the world. And this unfathomable magnetic power is emitted through your thoughts. So basically, law of attraction says that like attracts like. You're really talking at a level of thought. Whatever you think, you feel. Whatever you feel, you become, etc. It's a really insightful, easy to read book. Like, this is so easy to read at night or as a quick bedtime read. I'm going to pick something else. Oh, I love this one from Bob Proctor. He's one of my favorites, actually. He says, if you can see it in your mind, you're going to hold it in your hand. What a wonderful quote. Let's go through a couple more. I've saved so many. This section here is about the secret made simple and how to understand our feelings and what our feelings are telling us about our thoughts, because our feelings are the next step on. And this essentially says, Jack Canfield says, our feelings are a feedback mechanism to us about whether or not we're on track, whether we're on course or off course. Remember that your thoughts are the primary cause of everything. So when you think a sustained thought, it is immediately sent out into the universe. That thought magnetically attaches itself to that like frequency and then within seconds sends the reading of the frequency back to you through your feelings. There is so much in here, it's incredible. So this chapter touches on the powerful processes within The Secret, and Dr. Joe Vitale says a lot of people feel stuck or imprisoned or even confined by their current circumstances. Whatever your circumstances right now, that is your current reality. And current reality will begin to change as a result of beginning to use The Secret. So it's all about mindset, your thoughts becoming things, switching to a like frequency or a higher vibration. So highly recommend this book, and obviously I had to mention it because it is the starting point for all spiritual journeys these days, and it's just a really easy bite-sized accessible text. Now, if you are trying to get yourself out of a rut or you are looking to change your life in a drastic way, then the next two books that I have for you are going to be so empowering and do just that for you. I have You Are a Badass. This is the first book by Jen Sincero. This is How to Stop Doubting Your Greatness and Start Living an Awesome Life. This is the first book in the series and a really easy, accessible read with lots of anecdotes and understandings as to how to let go of our ego, how to let go of our doubts and fears, our imposter syndrome, and actually start empowering ourselves and living our best life. So I'm going to read a couple of quotes from this book. I've got one here about ego, so I'm going to touch on that straight away. Okay, so ego equals outside validation. That's essentially what I've learned from this element of the text. So Jen Sincero refers to the ego as the big snooze. She likes to have these really fun, like, anecdotal tones and easier ways to kind of understand and interpret higher level thinking, which I really like. It makes it accessible, it makes it fun, and it makes us feel less guilty about what we're trying to kind of develop ourselves from. So it says, the big snooze operates according to your limiting false beliefs. This is the garbage that was stuffed into your subconscious as a kid that doesn't ring true for you, as well as decisions you've made about yourself that are less than flattering or empowering. It gets validation from outside sources. I'm doing this to win your love. Your opinion of me is more important than my opinion of me. It's reactive. My circumstances control my life. I am a victim. Fear-based and extremely committed to keeping you safely confined within the reality you've created based on these limiting false beliefs, otherwise known as your comfort zone. The big snooze lives in the past and in the future and believes you are separate from everything around you. Your true self or higher self is your superhero self, your non-BS self, and on the other hand is the part of you that operates according to your connection to source energy. It gets validation from within. I love and trust myself. This feels right to me. I have a purpose. I am loved and proactive. I am in control of my life. I think I'll head on out and kick some ass. Love-based and is committed to creating a reality based on your limitless potential. As soon as you wake up from the big snooze, your true self lives in the present, not stuck in your head, and totally believes in the miracles and is one with the universe. I love that. I think it's fantastic. Really easy to read and fun. So this chapter here is all about gratitude, the gateway drug to awesomeness, and I couldn't agree more. It says, having gratitude goes way beyond just having good manners, however. Manners are a form of custom. Gratitude is a state of being. Anyone can whip out their P's and Q's, whether they're feeling it or not, but truly being in a state of gratitude is about having an awareness of and a deep appreciation for the many miracles in your life. Think about how it feels when you get to really thank someone for doing something for you. You feel great for receiving whatever it is you received and for sending thanks out to them. And then they feel great for giving you whatever they gave and for being appreciated, which makes you feel really great again, which makes them feel great again. You could basically spend the rest of your lives passing thank you notes back and forth. And because it makes you feel good to be in such a state of gratitude, it puts you at a high frequency and connects you to source energy, which puts you in a more powerful state to manifest more good feeling things and experiences into your life. I love that. I think it's so important that we express gratitude. And then her second book here, which is You Are a Badass at Making Money. This was the first book I read by Jen Sincero, and I actually read it when I was doing 75 hard. So are you guys ready for the highlight? I love a good highlighter. I love the green. I wanted to pair the green off because it is a money color. This book is wonderful if you are looking to step back into your power with money, if you want to get back into a good relationship with money and believe you are worthy, if you are working on yourself, if you are working for somebody else, if you want a pay rise, if you are trying to manifest that dream house of yours. This is a really fabulous book. It teaches you how to get a better relationship with money. Both books actually have journaling sections at the end of each chapter, so it's great to kind of see your progress, see what you're actually writing and uncovering from the text. I'm just going to read a really random page, a page that I have highlighted and used before. So it says, money is currency and currency is energy. Let's have a look at the text that I've just highlighted there. This key quote clearly, giving and receiving money is an energetic exchange between people, and your job is to consciously get your frequency in alignment with the money you desire to manifest and open yourself up to receiving it. This means getting clear on the value of the product and service you're offering, being excited and grateful instead of weird and apologetic about receiving money for it, and having total faith that this money is on its way to you instead of worrying about the possibility of it not showing up. Here's an important concept to understand. Money always comes to you through other people, but it comes from universal intelligence, as do all things, which is why focusing on the frequency of your thoughts, not the people you hope to make money from, is the key to getting rich. It's about disassociating yourself with the fear, the lack of this energetic understanding of money. It's just going to put you on such a feeling frequency. I can't recommend this book enough. And it's one of those, it's similar to The Secret, where I know I need to reread it, and I definitely will, because I absolutely love this book and I thought it was fantastic and just so easy to read. I think I read this in For me, as a slow reader, I read this in about 2 weeks. That sounds like a really long time, but for somebody who doesn't often get to pick up a book, that is like incredible. I really recommend these books if you're wanting to dive into the self-help section. I'm sure you will be seeing these covers everywhere. So the next book that I want to talk about is another self-help favourite. I absolutely love this book. This is Quiet by Fern Cotton. I can't remember the order of her books, but I know this definitely is not the first one. I picked this out, believe it or not, in a TK Maxx, and I was really surprised by how incredible it is to read and how much I've learned from it so far. It's not a book that I've finished yet, but it is a book that I leave by my bedside if I'm just wanting to quiet myself down, literally, with a good read. This has wonderful interviews. It features people like Billie Piper and just people with real life experiences who have had to go through and understand how to tame their inner bad voice, their inner critic, as it were. There's some lovely ways to understand and interpret that. Fern does such a great job at kind of demystifying the understanding around people who are successful and understanding that those people do go through stress as well. They go through periods where they are hyper anxious, and she's just so raw and honest, and I think that's what I love most. I've always loved Fern. I think she's wonderful. So I'm going to really quickly read out a little section of her book. And she talks about our inner critic as chatter in our heads. And this is a chapter called Why So Serious? It says, one of the main problems with this chatter is not necessarily that it's happening to us, but more importantly, that we take it very seriously and don't always notice the effect it is having on pockets of our lives. A personal example may help illustrate this. I have quite a large metaphorical mirror reflecting back at me in the working portion of my life. I can see on Instagram, Twitter, or hear from general feedback when bumping into passers-by just how my work is perceived. I can then make a decision on whether to digest this information or park it altogether. Usually I gobble it down quickly and get indigestion of the mind. One person may have thought my outfit that day was strange. One may feel the need to tell me they prefer one of my peers. One may have loved the words I spoke that day. One may have laughed at the views on life. There will always be a plethora of thoughts shining back at me in all their glory. Now, there is no rule saying that I have to believe any of these opinions, and there is certainly no proof that the opinions of others, whether negative or positive, are fact. So why do I take them all very seriously? Why does my negative mental chatter tell me I must take them all on board? So that's just part of that little chapter, and I love it. I think it's so honest and real. So if you're wanting to find somebody on your level, somebody who can understand and interpret these feelings and emotions better, I feel like she does a fantastic job, then check this one out. So my next lot of books are very woo-woo, and I love it. I think we all need a bit of woo-woo in our lives. You're probably here today because you want to delve into the woo-woo element of things, and I'm so glad that you do, because I think it's just opened up a completely new area of my life and just understanding my life purpose. But the books in this section are easy to read, like easy digestible, pick up and put down type of books, or just books that have a lot of information but in small pockets. So the first book that I want to talk about is again a new release, and this book is wonderful. It's called How to Breathe by Ashley Nees. This book is all about practicing how to meditate properly, and by meditation it's not just sitting there and going om for 5 minutes or 10 minutes. It's about how to incorporate breath work into different practices depending on the type of thoughts and feelings that you're experiencing and the types of traumas you're trying to heal, or maybe you're trying to bring new energies into your life. This book does just that. So it's really wonderful. It has a different breathing technique for a different emotion. I'm just going to touch on a few that I've really enjoyed or again needed. So one example is boundaries. Boundaries are something that I've been setting in the past year more so than ever before. I don't think I've ever really been a boundary setter. I'm very open and honest and upfront about my thoughts and feelings and emotions. It's something that I definitely need to be more careful of in terms of who I'm sharing my time and energy with, and whether certain people in my life are meant to be there. I think that's something that I've learned a lot over the past year. So boundaries is a really good one to start with, and it just kind of details what a boundary is, how to set them, how we absorb different energies. So I'm just going to read a small paragraph from this section and then go through the breathwork techniques. So this says, oftentimes we absorb other people's energy without realizing it because it's a habit we've had for so long, and it works in many subtle ways. The good news is that by taking the time to practice the boundaries breath, you will begin to establish strength in your own system so that you have the power to stay in your own lane, differentiate from others, feel less responsible for others, and feel empowered to make saying no part of your life. So that's just like a small little snippet of that. So I'll just quickly read to you the breathwork meditation. This says the practice: take a comfortable seat, breathe in and out through the nose for a minute to settle in. Set your practice intention. Begin by visualizing a sphere of gold surrounding you on the inhale. As you exhale, keep the sphere in place, allowing it to settle. Notice where the edge of the sphere is in relation to your body. Is it 3 inches away, 1 foot, 10? Make a quick mental note and then come back to your breath. Keep the sphere in the same place for the next 7 minutes as you continue to inhale and exhale. Take a full minute to release the visual guide of the sphere and settle into yourself. As you settle, see if any words want to be expressed around your boundary. If so, say them aloud. Close your practice. Note any changes you experienced and journal. Now, it's so important to journal each meditation, and I just don't think people do that enough or explain how it's important to do it, because you want to see your self-reflection and the feelings you were experiencing at the time. It's one of the things that I love to do the most, journaling. So having something like this, a practice to follow, and then you can go and do your free writing in whatever textbook you wish. That's like a really great way to practice how to breathe. So really recommend this book for that. The last 2 books that I have to show you in this kind of woo-woo section are more coffee table reads, and are more books that you'll pick up sort of as of an evening, or with a coffee, or if you're just trying to find a bit of information quickly. And this one is wonderful and really easy to understand if you're looking to interpret crystal meanings. So this book is The Power of Crystal Healing by Emma Lucy Knowles. Really insightful, great imagery and photography, and just a great bite-sized, like easy to understand crystal book. So if you're understanding crystal healing for the first time, you don't know what crystals to start with, or you're looking to understand a particular emotion or feeling or area of your life that you're trying to charge or channel, then check out this book. So I'm just going to kind of flick through the pages just to kind of explain what I'm talking about, but the images are stunning. Let's get a good example here. Oh yes, this is barite. So this is for big dreaming. So I'm a big dreamer in terms of falling asleep and manifesting things or understanding things in my dream state. I find I have really symbolic dreams, and I understand a lot more and have a lot more context of my life through my dreaming. So if you're looking to kind of understand how to dream better, then I would definitely recommend this crystal. But it says, barite is a stone for the soul. Finish your day feeling bright by calling on this crystal for a deeply restful vibe. For an all-time sleep high, barite is my go-to crystal of choice. On those mornings when you wake up and you know you've had a big dream, but you cannot for the life of you remember what it was, call in barite to enhance dream recall so that you can apply the secrets your dreams reveal to you in your waking day. Again, really fantastic. And it also has other crystals which do a similar thing or have similar properties. So that's amethyst, howlite and labradorite. I really love labradorite as a great crystal for dreams. Let's do one more. So just going into another section of the book, we've got how to use your crystals, how to cleanse your crystals. Personally, I like to do full moon rituals and moon baths. This is a wonderful technique. We've got candle charging, we've got smudging, using sage, of course using ethically sourced sage as well, sun showers. We've got all sorts of things going on here, but amazing photography as well. I love this book. It's a great beginner's guide to crystals, so I highly recommend it. The last woo-woo kind of coffee table read, something that I have by my bedside along with a journal and pen, is my dream dictionary. This is just one of many amazing dictionaries available but I was really cool to this a while back, and luckily my friend Mia, she works at Penguin, and she got this gifted for me, so I'm really happy with this book. I love it so much. I've had so many dreams, and so have my parents actually, and they've called on this book and asked me to interpret the dream and what it means. There are endless possibilities with this book because it is an A to Z, and there's a lot of understanding. So I'm just going to pick a couple that I've clearly flagged for my own dreams. Yes, okay, so I have a lot of dreams where I'm lost at sea. However, I'm very calm in the water. I have lots of water dreams and dreams with whales. So I flagged here lost at sea, and lost at sea is the opportunity to understand the ups and downs of my emotional life so I can get back on course instead of just drifting along. So that really resonates and makes a lot of sense to my personal life. Let's go to another one. Another one that I flagged. Maybe I'll try and find whales, because I have a lot of whale dreams. I feel like they could be a spirit animal or something. So I found whale, it's here, and it says the instinctive ability to generate a huge opportunity by immersing myself in my emotions and expressing my deeper feelings. Yeah, I guess that makes a lot of sense because I'm doing my best and trying to share a lot more of my emotional side and my empathetic side on YouTube. I'm really enjoying it. I love talking about spirituality and being honest about my thoughts and feelings on certain topics and areas of my life, so that would definitely ring true and resonate. But if you're wanting to know what your dreams are about, then I highly recommend this book. Have it by your bedside, and as soon as you wake up, all the things that you've seen or experienced, just jot them down super quick and then flick through the book and journal and find out what your dream actually means. So the last book that I want to mention in today's video has changed my life in so many different ways. I've mentioned it countless times on my Instagram before and shared different sections of this book. I think it's game changing, it's life changing, it's perspective changing, and it does have God references, so if you aren't religious, just bear that in mind. But I am, so it really connected to me and resonated with me to my core, and it is The Book of Awakening by Mark Nepo. This book is wonderful and I just can't rave about it enough. I think it's beautifully written, it's easy to comprehend. It's a daily insight into the thoughts of the author and different life lessons and how we can interpret them, linking them to metaphors and different areas of spirituality, and I think it's wonderful. There's a lot of meditation and just kind of pondering and sitting in your thoughts and understanding and interpreting the chapter for yourself. It's very short chapters, usually less than a page. So a very easy read, but this book has just been wonderful. And I've mentioned this before on my Instagram, but the way I use this book is to pick a page at random, and that is how I know that I'm being divinely guided to the right message of the day. And I just love this book. I think it's magical. So I'm going to touch on a couple of pages just to see, and I think hopefully these will resonate with you guys. So the first section that I want to read is April 10th, At Home in Our Skin. The spiritual life is about becoming more at home in your own skin. Parker J. Palmer. That's the quote. Anything that removes what grows between our hearts and the day is spiritual. It might be the look of a loved one stirring their coffee as morning light surprises their groggy eyes. It might be the realization while watching a robin build its nest that you are only a temporary being in this world. It might be a fall on ice that reminds you of the humility of your limitations. As Parker Palmer suggests, the aim of all spiritual paths, no matter their origin or the rigors of their practice, is to help us live more fully in the lives we are given. In this way, whatever comes from a moment's grace that joins us to our lives and to each other, this is spiritual. For example, I was having coffee the other day in a cafe, and suddenly, from the rain and noise around me, there arose a word of truth in the exposed voice of a stranger whose face I couldn't even see. I don't know her context or her story or whom she was revealing herself to. I didn't even turn around to see her face, because in that moment there was a perfect beauty in our staying anonymous. I only felt simply and deeply, that without her ever knowing, her moment of pointed and unexpected truth made me more at home in my own skin. The life of spirit is everywhere, in dust waiting for life, in music waiting to be heard, in the sensations of the day waiting to be felt. Being spiritual is much more useful and immediate than the books about books would have us think. Center yourself, and as you breathe, realize that your spirit fills your life the way the bones and blood fill your hand. As you breathe, realize that your life fits the world the way your warm and living hand fits a glove. As you breathe, feel your spirit fill your skin, and feel your skin fit the world. I just think it's so wonderful. But yeah, that's just an example of one that's quite a long one. I just love this book. It's pure magic. I can't recommend it enough. Make sure you check it out. So those are all my recommended books to read for spirituality and success. I really hope you enjoyed this video. It's something a little bit different. Please do let me know if you'd like to see a part 2 of this, because I have so many books that I'm already starting to read and I know you guys will really enjoy as well. So make sure you let me know in the comments. Thanks again for watching. Bye guys.